Good morning, children. Today we are going to discuss the dangerous D-box. What is the dangerous D-box? I like to think of it as the dangerous best of, meaning it is everything you need in one rack space to turn your standard DAW interface into a functioning studio. It sounds the same as the rest of the dangerous gear, it just has less features, which allows them to make it more affordable. But it really does sound the same. First, let's talk about monitoring. It is crucial to have a high-quality monitoring section in your studio because everything you do is based on the tone of that one box. When you're tracking, mixing, mastering, even when you just listen to CDs, all your judgment calls are based on the tone of that one box. You have two headphone outputs. That is very important. You have one for yourself at a reasonable level and one for your vocalist at a silly level. You have a Talkback microphone with a Talkback level. So for example, if you have a singer in a different room than you are, you can say, do it again. You have a mono button. Still crucial to listen to your mixes in mono. You have a speaker switcher, so you can have one pair of good speakers and one pair of bad speakers, or one pair of big and one pair of smalls. There are 4 separate input sources. 2 analog ones. One is labeled sum for the built-in summing box, and one's called analog for whatever you want. And 2 digital ones. One called DAW, one called CD, although you can feed them anything you like. You have to know that there is a built-in D2A converter, which sounds great. And that's very important because you can now listen to both your mix and somebody else's mix through the same converters, so you can make real judgment calls and not be confused by different converter sounds. Very nice. And to wrap up the monitoring section, you have a high quality knob here that lets you decide just how loud you're gonna hit yourself. That's it for monitoring. Let's talk about summing. The D-Box has basically a half a 2-bus in it. Same sound, same quality, it's just 8 channels instead of 16, which is nice. You get 8 signal present LEDs, which are very nice because most DAW interfaces don't really tell you what's going on. You get pan pots for 7 and 8. I want, say, a lead vocal and a lead guitar with some analog gear inserted between the converter and the D-Box, return into these inputs, so I can put the vocal in the middle, for example, and then the lead guitar slightly to the right, so it's not in the way. And then you get the traditional sum output, just like on a 2-bus, so you can decide just how hard you're gonna hit your converter on the way back in. So really, the idea of the dangerous D-Box is to help you upgrade both your mixing and your monitoring paths for any of those 8-channel DAW interfaces, anywhere from 192 to Fireface, Fire Studio, DJ03, whatever, and turn these boxes into a fully functioning studio.